It's the Mel K Show, and I'm Mel K. It is January 28th, 2021, and time is flying. And I am here in Manhattan with my partner, Rob Greeley. How's it going, Rob?
It's a great day, Patriots. I'm feeling good. How are you feeling today, Mel?
I'm feeling every day I feel a little bit more like we're in the land of the absurd. Just another day watching the Great Awakening implode in all directions, in my opinion.
It's been absolutely insane. People, if you understand what we do all day is we kind of go through the news, we do research, and then we pull it together. We decide what we want to talk about. In the last few days, the only thing that I've seen is like what I call like red pill news or Great Awakening news. So it's so absurd.
Yeah, but it's in the form of executive orders lining us up on our way to the New World Order and the totalitarian regime, otherwise known as Joe Biden's CCP slash UN Great Reset of the United States of America. And it's to the point where I can't even, it's, you have to have a sense of humor thinking, when is the military going to stop this madness?
Well, you know,
So what's doing on your end? First going on, there's some news in New York, right?
Yeah, there is, but I just want to say that everyone understands kind of where we live, what we think is going on, which is that the military is in control and that we are let it, the our whoever's in control is allowing all of these things to manifest so that people see really what the stakes of this game are. That doesn't mean that things aren't happening, right? Because we're not going to see most of what's happening and it's global. But what we are seeing in front of our face is hopefully trying to help people see that in fact we need we need
Well,
people
yeah.
to get involved,
Well,
right?
it's making people see that Joe Biden is clearly, though the media hid it from you and you went and voted for him, maybe because you just didn't like Donald Trump, but Joe Biden is clearly compromised by the CCP. Every move he's making is on behalf of the CCP, the Iranians, and the Iranian regime, not the people, and of course, not the people of China. We're talking about the Communist Party of China, the Iranian terror regime, and the International Global Banking Cabal. These three people that want the World Economic Forum running our money. They want the UN running our governments and our military. They want one world order. This is not a farce. It's been going on a very long time. And they are obviously controlling Joe Biden. This is not the Joe Biden that anyone has ever known. And every single radical idea coming out of his mouth are straight out of the Third Reich and CCP playbook. And even Putin is out there saying that it looks like 1933 with what's going on here. So let's
Right at the
open our
big
eyes. And
Davos meeting, right? That's
yeah, and
going
the
on.
weird thing is Davos, they're all there talking about the Great Reset, except for a couple people, including Putin. But yeah, Macron, who's a Rothschild, main man, they're there. They're talking about the Great Reset. The Great Reset, according to the World Economic Forum, is the fourth industrial revolution, otherwise known as major depopulation. And you will own nothing on this planet and you will be happy. And all money, food, and everything else will come through the one world government out of the central bank with the IMF and World Economic Forum and UN controlling all of us. So anyway, Joe Biden is on his way to leading us there. So,
Yeah,
okay.
well, it's not going to happen, and
No, it's
people are
not going to
waking up.
happen.
So, in New York, New York is a pretty asleep state. Or I would probably say the city is pretty asleep, and there's been this big thing with the Cuomo putting people into the nursing homes, and so it just came out. There was a big report that was released that. Uh, his numbers of deaths in nursing homes may be understated by 50%, and we all knew that, but obviously the news wasn't reporting this. We also know that he granted limited or no liability for all of these nursing
Nursing
home
home.
and elder care facilities. We know that a lot of those people were big donors of his, and we know that he was right up there, keeping that communist agenda alive with his death count. So So
Yeah.
that's a lot of people are going to see that in the daily papers, and they're going to start to wonder about that. One of the one of the biggest red pills that we're seeing, which is really unusual, is this stock trading thing. And I happen to know a little bit about that because I had spent some time in that world. But GameStop, which was a stock that was heavily shorted, what means that people, mostly institutions. So here's what happens: you have these big money players, and they sell a stock and they try to drive it into the ground. And this has been going on, and I've seen it go on over the years, and it's a big boys game. And but what's happened is that, and a lot of people have seen it and tried to complain about it, but it's never really been resolved in any way. If you remember Patrick Byrne, one of his big things, the Overstock guy who's been very vocal now, his company was attacked by short sellers. But GameStop was being attacked by short sellers, and somehow this group of Wall Street bets on Reddit was able to basically crowdsource a We the People, call it revolt, an uprising, and
Day
they
trader,
use,
it's not connected to a hedge fund or a big bank,
yeah,
put
these are
together
all
on their own independence.
Yeah, these are all independent investors. And what they did is they started buying this stock, and they bought it with no abandon. And what happens is when you're short, there's a lot of leverage there, and you can lose a lot of money. Evidently, that number is maybe close to $100 billion. But then what happened is that all the institutions came in and said, whoa, 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 you can't do this. We're going to stop your trading. We're going to delist the stocks. We're going to restrict you. So what it did is it woke up all these individual investors and others that are watching this to this very uneven game, this two tiered financial system. And so that's spread over into a number of other companies. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this. Reddit was has been really restrictive, and that Reddit is a whole nother red pill and rabbit hole. But it's a very, very interesting situation, and I believe a lot of people are going to wake up and see the unbelievable unfairness of the way that a lot of these rules are applied.
Well, yeah, I mean, it breaches over to, that one I did with Charlie a long time ago and others about the DTCC and the DTC and the Fed being a private bank that owns all of this. The Fed private bank, central bankers, the cabal that we talk about, the Davos crew, all of them own all this stuff. They own all the type A stock, basically. The stock market is rigged against we the people. It's always been. And it looks like this is another red pill. I wouldn't be surprised if people like Byrne and Elon Musk and other people are, helping out and encouraging this because they know that the stock market is a total creation of the central banking cabal and the Rothschild banking people and all of the private Fed and all they've done just to put us in debt slavery all these years. And, it looks like we the people, a bunch of people got together and said, if we do it legally and we follow the open market rules and we do it together without one of these big banks or hedge funds controlling it with their billions of dollars and connections, let's see what happens. And it worked. And, that's unacceptable to these people. But again, it's just revealing yet again that we are dealing with an elite class of billionaires and oligarchs and tech entrepreneurs that are, deciding what's good for we the people, what we can and cannot do, what we can and cannot say, to the point that the New York Times and others are saying that what happened on Reddit is somehow also racist and violent. So now everyone that got involved in this GameStop thing are now being accused of being domestic terrorists too.
Just like
Yeah.
just like people that have opinions that are not in the mainstream news.
Well, like I was going to say, we all, obviously, including me, are now on a DHS list of potential terrorists because we are frustrated Americans that question the election. Joe Biden's new Department of Homeland Security citing Capitol unrest, which we now know was planned weeks, if not days before by Antifa and other leftist progressive organizations to infiltrate and perpetuate another hoax on Trump and the Patriots. But anyway, they've put out an advisory, and apparently they're sending around the FBI to confront nonviolent individuals who choose to do investigations like I do online and speak it out. I'm right now banned from Twitter, from YouTube until tomorrow. We'll see. But also, it's a national terrorism advisory system, and it's turned against patriots. It's turned against people that are questioning the election. Anyone that's saying anything that's not with the narrative, anyone who's questioning vaccines, anyone who's questioning COVID. They're saying ideological, motivated, violent extremist. Anyone that I know is actually following God, country, and love of family, and our, and our way of life, and our history, and our past, and our future. But anyway, apparently we're now violent extremists with objections to the exercise of governmental authority. They're not supposed to have authority. They're supposed to work for us. And the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives, according to them, obviously, and could mobilize and incite or commit violence, though they have no evidence of anything of the such. And they continue to call on this QAnon as like this violent extremist movement. There is no movement. There is no group. There is no meetings. There is no club. It's a website that hasn't even been functioning for months. So the DHS claims that some domestic violence extremists may be emboldened because of their January 6th breach of the Capitol and targeted elected officials and government facilities, all staged. It'll come out, but let's just stay there.
I
They
think
are threat.
go
Well,
ahead.
listen, let me just finish what they
Go
said
ahead.
here, because it gets even scarier. DHS admits they do not have any information to indicate any credible plot, but violent riots have continued in recent years, and that they are pretty much allowing people to not only rat out their neighbors and all of that, but they are blaming Trump supporters, still lying, because even the Washington Post admits that it wasn't coordinated by Trump supporters, and Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, and others knew about what was going to happen days before. But the DHS, with completely lawless, corrupt FBI, are now justifying going after individuals that simply disagree with the election results because of mass fraud that we all saw on TV that everyone's refusing to even acknowledge or look at. And people just want to have a fair election and know that their votes mattered. But the people that they are targeting, misinformation and conspiracy theorists, of course, basically are anyone that's saying anything against what they're saying, and anyone that's questioning literally the election, COVID, the CCP, Biden's ability to mentally or in terms of his corruption be able to rule. And they are making this a war on we the people. And then we have two criminals, Brennan and Adam Schiff, out there saying that we should all be rounded up, and they're including libertarians and anyone who shares any memes. A guy that shared some memes about Hillary before 2016 was just arrested the minute that Joe Biden's people come in. The FBI is going full Gestapo, people. And I'm going to keep fighting, but there's a part of me that knows that anyone that went through the purge, like me on YouTube and on Twitter, is probably on their list. And you know what? I do my own research, and I have a journalism degree, but I won't be counted as a journalist. They're calling me a domestic terrorist. Personally, if I read this, honestly, 70% of Americans, 70 million Americans that voted for Donald Trump, apparently they could manipulate this new order and show up at anyone's door. So we really have to start looking at this. And like I said earlier, the one person, of course, Joe Biden and Boris Johnson weren't at Davos because I believe neither of them have any power anymore. They're being completely controlled by the CCP, UN, and central banking cabal. But, bottom line is this is very, very similar to the FBI Gestapo, who became loyal only to Hitler, no longer to protect the people, obviously. And it comes from the mouth of Putin saying, and Poland and Hungary and other people who have experienced things like the Bolshevik Revolution and other revolutions and color revolutions that are really warning the American people that what they're seeing is really dangerous. And when Putin's saying what's going on is like Germany in 1933, I suggest everyone pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, the assault on our freedoms is extraordinary. I was always taught that questioning things was one of the most important things that you could do in your growth as a person. And now we're being told not to question anything.
We're not
And
allowed, you
right,
know?
yeah,
I do
and
hours and hours and hours of research, and I've been trying to share a lot on our Telegram, the Mel K Show group, a lot of research places to go. Like the FBI vault, the CIA. There's a CIA archive room that we can all access. Corey Diggs has tons of good stuff on her site of different portals that you can go down. There's so much information out there. And if you have a journalistic spirit or you're a researcher or you're looking for the truth and you find facts, if you put them out there, and Joe Biden and his DHS slash FBI, now being basically run by all the people that were spying on us with Hammer during the Obama administration, they can come after you. They can come after you. This is where we are. And now these guys doing this thing with GameStop, who are brilliantly exposing the fraud that is Wall Street and the stock market against we the people. They're now too being labeled domestic terrorists. I mean, where does this stop? I don't know where the military is at this point when it comes to, because the military is supposed to protect we the people and the Constitution, and this guy Biden and whoever is controlling him, because it's not him, are seriously grabbing all of our rights and our freedom right in front of our faces. And there's still a bunch of people, I guess, that support Biden cheering it on, but they better wake up, because every country that's gone through communism and socialism is warning America, and they're being silenced too, just like all the doctors warned us about hydrochloroquine being a cure. And today, finally, Facebook and yesterday, the American Medical Association come out and admit it, that they were lying about hydrochloroquine, basically, and all of their entire campaign for the entire 9 months before the election against hydrochloroquine was false. So again, I keep saying, was this about a virus or about an election? I mean, it was definitely a virus, but at what ends, And then now we're watching everything be dismantled that is America. And, it's getting to a point where, what are we going to do? We
but
need
this
to
is
keep fighting.
this is exactly where we are.
Right.
We knew we'd be here. It's very difficult to live in this space because there's so much. You're being assaulted by these things that are absolutely insane. And we do laugh about it a lot because every time they come across, you're like, are you kidding me? I mean, we're going to go through some of that stuff here today, but I want people to just to have a certain level of comfort that we have a high degree of conviction that the military is in control, and all of these things that we're seeing are part of this awakening of the people, and it's part of the plan to free us so that we the people stand up and take ownership of our liberty and our courts and the education of our children, because we got to step up. And you've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a point where today Biden's choice for the State Department is now going to be going through and looking at reviewing all of Pompeo's information on China, and is questioning whether there is a concentration camp and genocide against the Uyghurs when the whole world knows it. But apparently, this woman, as called out by many, has been very involved with China and the Confucius Institute. And now she is calling it into question if there is any genocide of the Uyghur Muslims in China. And she is looking to reverse some of these decisions made against China. Basically, she says that under the direction and control of the CCP, that how Pompeo made that speech about that they are committing genocide against the Muslim Uyghur community with ethnic religious minority groups, and that they're doing a genocide and a cleansing and using them as forced labor and organ trafficking. And this woman is putting it under question, also thinking about reversing that designation. Joe Biden's guy at the Pentagon thinks that climate change is our biggest national security threat. Also,
Didn't it used to be China like a week ago?
it is China. It is
Yeah.
China. It just keeps getting crazier. Biden suspends. This is totally nuts. Biden now is he has reestablished communication and peace talks with Hamas, and he has suspended all of the arms sales and all of the work with the key Arab allies that went into the Abrahamic Accords in what looks like a nod to Iran and Hamas and the Palestinian organization. And also CCP, One World Order, is obviously involved in wanting that to happen. And basically, he is going in and really upsetting Saudi Arabia and all of the allies that have agreed to start peace movements in the Middle East and end the banking cabal, Rothschild, military industrial complex, cash cow that is the Middle East endless wars. He also just immediately put troops back in Syria. We're not sure why. So, lots of stuff is happening that I think the military, if you're out there, I don't know if anyone's watching me on the good guys side, this is getting dangerous, and other countries are starting to step up and say, we have to do something. It is not Biden in control. It is clear that this is the United Nations cabal that is the CFR, the Rockefeller Foundation, all these now bankrupt City of London, Vatican, District of Columbia Corporation, oligarchs and big tech that is having a war on we the people and making our country terribly unsafe and undoing all the positives. I mean, this guy's he ended the opioid task force. What? So he ended the opioid task force, of course, making Big Pharma thrilled. But it turns out his son, Hunter, is still has a huge stake in the private Chinese equity firm that all of this should have been the red flag to not let this man in office. But apparently Hunter still owns an equity stake in BHR, which is his company that he started with the Chinese oligarch, and also the Chinese National Credit Organization says that in their records, Hunter Biden is still a partner there. So, I just, I'm sorry to babble on, but we really need to pay attention here, because the good guys, which include an amazing guy that worked with Trump and also is regularly out there sounding the alarm, General Jack Keane, who's awesome. He's a true patriot, and he's out there saying that we are so vulnerable to China, and all of these moves are like nothing anyone's ever seen before. He believes space warfare is of the future, and China has developed the ability to take out entire US satellites and infrastructure because of their infiltrating our country and our military and our technology from their different Confucius centers and all their donations to many universities and many military contracts and other things that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and his brother James were involved in. And he's warning that we're completely dependent on some of this stuff that the Chinese have developed capabilities in, and they can take out our satellites, our infrastructure, mess with our GPS, our weapons, all of that. And he needs people to wake up and realize that like our entire government is under attack by the Chinese Communist Party. And meanwhile, Joe Biden just lifted sanctions and restrictions that Pompeo and Trump and others put in to not allow the Chinese Communist Party to have access to our military or technology infrastructure. And Joe Biden just reversed that. I don't know what to say here other than, are we watching a movie?
We have to be watching a movie. We have to, because
mean,
look,
this
you
guy,
know how much Trump invested in the military. Don't forget, he rebuilt the military. We didn't have the hardware. A lot of that was, electronics, which were
right?
probably all compromised. We pulled out a lot of the people that were selling secrets. I'm sure that we've, intercepted that, but
Mhm.
obviously we need to rebuild from there. But I believe that the threat, the real threat has been neutralized. I believe what we're seeing is the movie that is
Yeah.
showing people
Well,
how
we gotta
ugly.
hope, but people that aren't awake really need to take a look at all these facts. They're facts. They're not hate speech. They're not violent speech. They're not wrong think. They can censor and censor and censor, but people have to look at what this man is doing to our security. This is entirely 100%. This is in the playbook of the Rockefeller 100-year plan to a one world order. What they're going to suggest next, he's already saying he wants to end all private prison contracts and let out all these criminals, let everyone else out of ICE custody. And that's the most violent of violent that are in custody in ICE are not, people that have to go back and go to court. These are the people that are murderers and criminals and all kinds of bad people. And, I mean, it's got to be a movie. Even,
Look, it's
I
a
hate to say it again, but Putin's out there, and Modi and a couple, Mexico, Australia, they're all pushing back and saying that this is, Saudi Arabia's pissed, Israel's pissed. They don't understand what's going on here. And then again, on top of that, Rob and I stumbled upon today. Anyone trying to push the Signal app on you needs to know. There was a big talk at Davos was about where the fine line between giant big tech companies and national security meets, and where privacy and public protection matters and all of that. And it turns out, we just found out that this Signal app that they've been pushing all over the place in the media and everywhere else, and Jack's been promoting it and other people. Well, the Signal app, just so you guys know, it was launched by the Open Whisper system, brainchild of shadowy tech guru Matthew Rosenfield in 2018. But the problem is that responsibility for managing the app is through the nonprofit Signal Foundation, which it was a $50 million startup capital provided by Facebook higher up Brian Acton, and the OWS never published financial statements, didn't disclose identities of founders, didn't at any point put over information. And now it turns out, after a lot of people have downloaded this app, it actually got at least $2,955,000 from the Open Technology Fund between 2013 and 2016. The organization refers to Signal as being originally developed with OTF funding. OTF apparently is enabled the OWS team to continue providing Signal at no cost around the globe and adapt their operations for a growing user base. Well, OTF was created in 2012 as a pilot program of Radio Free Asia, an asset of the US Agency for Global Media, which in turn was funded by Congress to the tune of $637 million annually of our money. And its CEO acknowledged that the outlet's priorities reflect US national security interests. So basically, Signal goes all the way around back to Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberation from Bolshevism, Radio Liberty, all of this. And in 2007, the CIA's official website stated that psychological warfare initiatives under these programs were the longest running and most successful covert action campaigns. And basically, the CIA made that public in the 70s, but in 1999, they were grouped along with other state-run media entities under the umbrella of the Broadcasting Board of Governors, USAGM Forerunner. The launch of OTF followed the US State Department, led by Hillary Clinton, pursuing an internet freedom policy, ostensibly an effort to develop tools to subvert restrictive internet policies. Okay, so if you pull this all together, basically, Signal has a very tight relationship with the State Department and with the CIA, and it says that fundamentally that this is a spying tool. And again, it is being used like the hammer and like the Smith-Mundt Act and like all this stuff that was meant for to protect us from terrorists and foreigners. It's being used against us. So I know a lot of people got rid of WhatsApp when they changed their terms of service last week, but I would do some research into Signal and its origin, because just like In-Q-Tel and the CIA has funded many, many programs and many technologies that are being used against us, and DARPA and In-Q-Tel funded Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, and all of these companies, and they give our information to them. Well, this Signal, it turns out, is not as encrypted as we'd like to think. It's encrypted for me and you, but it ain't encrypted for the government. And they have a lot of money invested. Also, everyone should probably look into this governor's fund that I just mentioned with the Radio Free Asia and all of that. I didn't know about this, and this is really disturbing because it's our money, but also it's called the U.S. Agency for Global Media. And basically, it is funded by our Congress with our taxpayer dollars at $637 million annually. And they are creating things like Signal to spy on us. So please take a look at that yourselves. And sorry about the long babbling thing. But again, Signal is not the only one. All of these technologies that we are downloading willingly, thinking that we can trust these people, we have to realize we have an oligarch and a tech fascist regime of billionaires and trillionaires and bankers at the top of the international central banking cabal and the CCP, who are using this technology against we the people. And we really need to wake up to the fact that the government really needs to hear our voices, and our military needs to remember that, we the people are the ones that they're supposed to be protecting. And our constitutional rights, civil rights, our privacy rights, everything have been totally infiltrated by billionaire and trillionaires who don't really care about consequences. They just pay it. So that's been really getting to me lately, because I feel like any single one of us who want to do our own research and put it out there are in danger right now from our own government. And, that's just my warning. Look, I do believe the military is in control. I just think that it's very dangerous times. I'm going to keep fighting, and I hope you guys are, and I know Rob will. But, I got knocked off of YouTube for, questioning some of the stuff that we saw with our own eyes and the cheating, and some of the stuff that I knew about that happened in the Capitol that really seemed planned. And, I was kicked off Twitter just for basically retweeting something that General Flynn put out. So, I mean, we have to keep fighting, but we really need to step up and remind the military that we need them to do something about these out of control UN New World Order overlords, because it's getting scary. It's getting real scary when Putin's saying that what's going on in America looks like 1933 Germany, and we're letting it happen.
I think as it relates to Signal, the reason why that really popped up for us is because we know that now they're trying to take down Telegram after taking down, basically getting rid of all the Twitter people, Parler, a lot of the other hosting sites for different content. Yeah. So and now Reddit is basically doing that too, from a lot of
Reddit's
groups.
Calling these GameStop people domestic terrorists.
Now we have known that we would have communications blackouts, and that a lot of these things would be going down. So we've been given advance warning of that. We have been nimble, and we have adapted, and we will continue to do so. But again, I repeat, I believe all of this is very hard on us, but it's going to wake a lot of people up, and that needs to happen.
Yeah. And, this is worldwide. I saw today, Germany's upset about the QAnon movement. That isn't a movement. It's just a board of patriots that are questioning things that they're not allowed to question. But lots of stuff is coming up and people are fighting back, even in Switzerland, I guess, after the demise, I guess, I'm hoping, of the Rothschild clan, at least the head of the place. People are starting to get out there and do their own research and fight back. This is a worldwide cabal. China has been doing this to the whole planet with the UN's help, with the City of London, which is not London, with the Vatican, with the globalist, One World Order, World Economic Forum, Great Reset, CFR, Privy Council, all these people that are in this cabal at the top, probably 3,000 of them and billions of us, and they are doing this to us. And that's kind of has to be the way it's looked at. I hear EU orders raids on AstraZeneca factory amid threat of UK COVID vaccine export. I mean, the EU is in on it. Switzerland wants out of the EU. We know UK wants out of the EU. The EU is an experiment of the One World Order. I've done shows on this. You can find them on my page, in my YouTube page. It's still up in the playlist. Rob and I talk about it. But the EU is their first nation state of their 10 states. They want to control from their one world hub in Kazakhstan, or I guess now in China. CCP is going to be the head of it, since they basically infiltrated the entire UN. So all these guys are right now in Davos. This would be a good time to round them up.
Yeah. Well, as all of this is going on, I mean, it's kind of going on all across the board. So we have some of the edgy, I think he did 37 executive orders in the first 6 days, something like that, which is an extraordinary number relative to what any other executive officer has done.
Yeah.
But
especially during the campaign. Sorry, especially since during the campaign, he said that ruling by executive order is what dictators do.
Right, exactly. So everything, that's my point. Everything is so absurd that it has to be something that we're just not seeing the whole picture, but we are, because we have a little perspective. So they're going after the energy, they're going after education, they're going after technology, now the financial markets have really come into play. It's across the board. And then all these kind of crazy things. You told me that they want to rename all the schools and
oh my God, yeah, this crazy thing, kids. It's just getting so beyond comprehension. So San Francisco School Board removes 44 names from schools, including Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson. San Francisco, California has decided to remove names of anyone who is deemed unworthy, any famous American deemed unworthy because of connections to slavery or unsavory ties in early America. This includes George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, John Muir, Francis Scott Key, Catholic priest Gianpardo Serra. It just gets so ludicrous.
Goes on and on and on.
Listen, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So any school, they're even removing Dianne Feinstein from the name of an elementary school. This Mayor London Breed is very excited about this. She says that it's time for them to start making some changes that reflect the culture. I don't know which culture, since San Francisco's culture seems to be horrendous. But and they're also removing Pocahontas from all books because of its misinformation about her, even though she was a hero with Lewis and Clark. But hey, they're also so they're removing Lowell High School, James Denman Middle School, Herbert Hoover Middle School, Roosevelt Middle School, Paul Revere K-8, Alamo Elementary, Dianne Feinstein Elementary, Garfield Elementary, Jefferson Elementary, Francis Scott Key Elementary, McKinley Elementary, Marshall Elementary, Monroe Elementary, Sanchez Elementary, Sheridan.
These guys are really busy erasing our history, aren't they?
Part though. I just got to finish. This is funny. Robert Louis Stevenson Elementary, Daniel Webster Elementary, Presidio Elementary, Stockton, Robert F. Stockton, Navy Commodore Elementary. And guess what? They're not telling us who they're replacing them with. So that's great news in the woke capital of America. And
I saw Montana's fighting back against that. They started something, Save Women's Sports Act.
Well, yeah,
because there was an executive order about transgender
Yes.
athletes, which,
And it's so just, can't even understand this. And also in that executive order, that boys, transgender boys that haven't even gone through transition, just consider themselves boys, can not only compete against girls, which doesn't make any sense biologically or anatomically or in any way, shape, or form, but that they can also share their locker rooms and then use the same facilities and all of that, as if that might not cause a problem. And on top of that, nobody cares that girls' sports have a trajectory to scholarships and all of that, and that they're going to like lose their ability to get college scholarships and on teams and stuff
I mean, there's
because
so many things that
it's so
when
horrible.
you compete on a level playing field, and that's one of the things that we're all fighting against here. But
Right.
if you are if you're competing in a stacked, deck where you have no chance of winning, then it's totally demoralizing, and it doesn't give you any of the benefits of those experiences in life. That's what we're experiencing now, where even if you
Right.
do the right thing or say the right things or question things. So again, all about the Great Awakening, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. Well, let me just share some more with you before we get. I'm just saying, you got to see all these crazy things. So Joe Biden's new assistant attorney general, the head of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. Her name is Kristen Clark. She wrote, "Black infants sit, stand, crawl, and walk sooner than whites, and the melanin endows blacks with greater mental, physical, spiritual abilities, something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards." She also was accused of inviting a professor to campus when she was at Harvard that professor that Jewish groups denounced as anti-Semitic, including having lots of connections to different groups that are connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. And she also says that continues with that Trump was a racist. We need healing. That the new the programs that are going towards educating the people about systematic racism should be mandatory, and that the federal government is going back to the 1619 project type racial training programs, and she's going to be overseeing all of that, which is really promising. And then on top of that, I only have two more, but you got to know. On top of that, now Bowser, who is real tight with the CCP, we will find out. Just like Cuomo is, we shall find out. That's all over Hunter Biden's laptop. If we ever get the any kind of Justice Department people in there that are going to tell the truth. But so Bowser now has sent out a hashtag DC is open. Oh my God, was it about an election or a virus? I don't know. But now Bowser, after all,
Cuomo said he's opening up New York too. So now that
we
the
know, we
election's
know. Oh,
over,
I'm
yeah.
just waiting for the minute. It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous. Okay, so now Bowser has told everyone that they have to take down their boards, even though they're keeping the National Guard. Think of this in DC, and half of them are now have martial ability to arrest people. But now she's demanding everyone take down their boarding and other protections that they put up against the riots last summer, because there were no street riots. The only thing that happened in DC when Trump had the peaceful situation that was infiltrated by Antifa and others, there was no street violence, by the way, so take note of that. But there was when Black Lives Matter and Antifa burned down DC last summer when nobody cared. Anyway, she's demanding everyone take down any protections, any boarding, anything that is protecting their business or their property from riots. And she wants that happening immediately now that DC is open, even though A and B weren't supposed to be related. I thought one was about riots and violence and the other was about an illness, but hey. Anyway, all she's done, also Black Lives Matters, now the plaza in front of the White House, thanks to her. And also there's plenty of evidence that the DC police, many of whom seem to be killing themselves, the Capitol Police that work for the District of Columbia Corporation, now she's obviously, done good because they're trying to make DC into a state, which should never happen for a million reasons. It would also give them, the Democrats, 2 more Senate seats, but they have offered Bowser to be the governor. And that's good because the Bowser administration has partnered with the Chinese Communist Party funded Confucius Institutes for years, allowing party propaganda to infiltrate all district public schools and federal buildings willingly. The Confucius Institute, which is run by the CCP, identifies Mayor Bowser and her office and DC public schools as willing partners in America, as per Pompeo warned us. And so that should be known about this lady. And I don't mean to bum people out. I just want people to know that, I believe, I agree with you, Rob. I believe in our military. I believe even more in God and all of that. But every move that this guy is making and everyone he's putting in is fundamentally a Marxist, communist, one world order, totalitarian out of the textbooks that were rewritten, so nobody educated after 2000 even gets it. And it's scary times when we have to watch this. But like you said, I think it might be the 10 days of darkness. And I hope people are feeling buyer's remorse. If they're not, they're just stupid.
Well, we do know that the National Guard is going to be staying through sometime, I heard mid-March maybe. And yes, we are seeing DC having blackouts. It's very hard to say because I'm not there, but what I've seen is it looks like almost every night they're having some sort of a blackout. And that's been going on for, I think, 7 days or so.
Oh, yeah.
There was also Trump, I guess someone ran into him at his golf, one of his golf outings yesterday, and said, Mr. Trump, something like, thank you for your service. And he said, we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, he said we're not done yet, and then tapped his leg twice, which everyone looked like.
Yeah, he
does. I think he just tapped his leg twice, like I'm okay. But no, that was a great sign. I mean, there's been a lot of good signs. Like I said, there's no way if General Flynn wasn't behind the scenes somehow and fighting for us and having our backs, and Chris Miller and all the good guys in the White Hats. I don't think General Flynn's brother would have just been put in charge of the Pacific Army out of Hawaii. So there's certain things like that give me solace. But I mean, this guy, it's like an absurd. Every executive order is more dangerous than the last one. And I'm telling you, because I do a lot of research of all over the world, people are freaking out in other countries watching what's happening here because they lived through it. I mean, people all over Ukraine, Hungary, email me. Russia, I have Russian friends here, people from Iran, like they're watching all these executive orders that Biden's putting through and who he's putting in. He's re-entering the Iran deal. He's bringing back Obamacare, which almost made me broke. Remember, Rob, my
absolutely, yeah,
my
it's
monthly
horrific.
was $369. I have a brain injury because I had an accident. My deductible is 11 grand. I didn't spend 1 cent of my insurance when I was on Obamacare. On care. I just all out of pocket for a year. And, just every day we're going, it's gotta be the ultimate red pill. I cannot believe that our military is going to allow this to go on much longer. The whole world is up in arms and, he's trying to trigger what I think is a war between Iran and Israel so that the CCP can continue doing what they're doing without us looking at them. It's very clear if anyone looks that communist China is running Joe Biden. And for all of you that hated Trump so much that was okay with you, you better start looking at what's going on and who's cheering on them putting patriotic Americans, some 70 million, in camps just because we don't say what they want us to say. Hate speech is not the same as hated speech. They don't like what we're saying. So now we're terrorists for speaking out. And, their journalists will get protected, but people like me and all of you guys and Rob and, way bigger people than us are not going to be protected. And we got to do something. It's got to be us. So
what do we do? What do we do? Here's what I think.
Go ahead. You're probably more positive today. It's just everything that comes out. I think, oh my God, because, I was obsessed with Hannah Arendt and the origins of totalitarianism. And this is like literally every single move is against we, the people, and our freedom. And I've been warning everyone, the goal of the CCP and the globalists and the New World Order and the central cabal banks, CFR, United Nations, the corporation of the District of Columbia, and all these people is for us to cede our sovereignty and to have no borders from Mexico, America, and Canada, and that these banking cabal bloodline folks that Joe Biden is clearly working for are pushing us towards having no security whatsoever and coming in with their UN peacekeepers and taking over our country. So we really we can't do violence. We can't get sucked into any of their false flags. Very important not to go out there. But I think maybe the best thing to do is to find your local military, maybe, or, reach out to your local National Guard or to the military in some way. There's got to be ways to reach out to them and say, hey, we the people are scared. These people, I mean, we're not new, we're just naive maybe in America, but this is not new behavior. I mean,
Well, look,
it looks like other countries' militaries might step in before ours
no,
do, because they're
look,
freaking out.
this is not happening. All right. What we do, the military are not going to tell us anything.
I
We
know.
know that, right?
It's just getting scary
I
watching the
understand,
show.
but what we can do is we can stay unified. We can stay positive. We
Right.
can kind of help each other. We can help those around us who are waking up.
Mhm.
We can because we've been through this for a long time. We understand that the timeline always is very frustrating. We have been told that we will be taken to the precipice, and maybe that's what we're all feeling. But just because we've been at it for a long time, some people are just, I mean, I read all of our comments. We get amazing comments, so much. I can't even go through it. But there's so
I
many
know.
people are saying, it's been 3 weeks or it's been 2 weeks, or I can't believe I just found you guys and others. And so people are seeing what's going on. We have to understand that. We have to use our eyes and discernment to
Right.
understand all of this is going on for a reason.
Right.
There is a lot happening. So we need to, be in love and light. We need to support each other. We need to continue to have that conviction. And if you listen to our president as he was kind of helping us understand everything that was going on, he's told us, just go back and listen to what he said about so many things. It's all happening, and it has to happen.
Yeah. And I don't want to be negative, guys, because everyone's been so nice to me. And it has been hard because right or wrong, I do my own research. And even if I go on with other people, I really, I'm trying to do the best I can to get information out there. And today I just saw an influx of information. And like I said, my thing is I really studied a lot what led up to World War II and all over the world and what's going on. And I believe these are the exact same people. They just came to America and South America and rebranded. And, I've been very critical and very outspoken about the Rockefellers and the UN and Bill Gates and all of that. And I want people to know this real stuff, research it for yourself, tell your friends, make sure that people understand the bargain they made, because people that voted for Biden appear to have made a deal literally with the devil. And I don't want to, and I'm scared for us because I'm seeing these things happen. And, Rob and I and all of you guys and the people in our groups that come to send me emails, and I have a million to get back to, which I will. I've been really researching for a big show I'm doing tonight with Ann Vandersteel. But I am saying better to be armed with facts and truth than to not realize what's going on, or letting these executive orders pass by without paying attention, or seeing, people playing Wall Street's game back against them, labeled domestic terrorists. This is out of control, all because it's like, if you're a journalist that works for one of the 6 corporations that own all of our media, that are owned by the Federal Reserve type bankers and oligarchs and tech billionaires, then you're okay. But if you're just me trying to get some info out there, or Rob, or any of our friends that do the same, we are being targeted. And, I just want everyone to know that we're all in this together in a good way. And I do believe the military is in control, but it is time to, now's not the time to sit back, I don't think, and wait, because we need to be, I think, proactive in trying to get the message out to each other, that we got to wake up. We got to all work together to put out the good vibrations, the truth, support, love, and realize that it's up to us, we the people.
That's exactly what I was going to
Always was
say.
supposed to be up to we the people, and that's it. We the
That's an
people.
important point.
It's our country, and it's time to take it back. And we can. We just have to get out there and do it on a local level.
Yeah, because listen, if we were not, if this was done for us, right? Like we were children and everything was taken care of, that's not particularly motivating. But when you're pushed to the point where you feel either threatened or, you know, pushed down, if you're not being heard, I mean, that's going to get you going. That's going to get you motivated to try to affect change. And we're going to do it in the most loving and kind way. But I think, I mean, I've dealt as a parent, I know how powerful love is as a motivator, and it really works. So we're going to go out there and love them to death, Patriots, and we're going to get this done. And
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
God
leave.
wins, God won. It's biblical. This is how everything has to usually happen. Nothing good comes from no pain, no gain, I guess is the point. But be aware, and get the word out there to those who are still asleep that it's our country and we are in control, and we got to take it back ourselves, because right now, until the military feels the need to stop this craziness, we got to stick by each other and make sure that we have each other's backs. And I have all your backs. And come to, I don't know when they'll put me back on YouTube. People that got canceled for the week are now going on and finding out they've been canceled till April, which may happen to me. But I am on BitChute, as you know. Please come see us there. We are I'm figuring out the blog how to stream on there. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but it's themelkshow.com is where you can reach me. Send me an email. We love that. And I just, everyone, we have to all have each other's backs and make sure that everyone is awake and supporting those who are awake, but also slowly and gently hinting to our friends that they might want to reconsider their choices going forward, as we are watching the fight between good and evil heat up here. Okay, I love you all. I'm sorry to be a little, I'm not down. I'm very excited, but I want people to be armed with the facts. I want people to know what's going on with big tech at your house, on your children's schooling, on your phones, on, get your privacy settings as private as you can. Support other people out there, because I have a lot of trolls and people attack us, and that's okay.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
mind.
that's been insane.
But
Well, we
listen,
know.
I don't mind, especially the anti-Semitism and it's awful. But I have to say, it's the love that I'm getting, and I feel like the information we're sharing, especially on the Telegram group, it's keeping me going, because this is very scary for a lot of us right now in independent journalism across the board. People out there fighting every day have been silenced. If you haven't seen anyone up for a week that you follow on YouTube, you know why. They got striked last week, and it's very hard for a lot of us right now. And we're some of us, including myself, are watching my back, because at any moment it looks like the FBI can choose to call you a domestic terrorist. And I just really appreciate the support, and I guess the trolls is part of it, but everything I'm doing is coming from a place of love, and love of God, love of country, love of family, and honestly, love of all of you and each other and humanity, because we're going to win. It's just right now we really have to protect each other and keep each other going. So thank you so much, and
Yeah,
we'll see you next time.
support all your patriots out there, patriot pals. They all need it. Everyone is trying to be nimble. They're all
Yeah.
finding new ways to reach out. Some guys that we love, it's hard to find, but go look for them and support
Yeah.
them. And
Everybody's being really attacked. If you're watching this and you don't do your own podcast or, put yourself out there, that's everyone's own choice. I did this. I didn't necessarily mean to, but once you get into it and start to unravel all the layers and really see the matrix and what's happening to us and the debt slavery and all that, it's for me at least, it was hard to stay silent. I mean, I pray every day. I feel like I'm doing what God would want me to do, but we are being attacked actively, and now we're being attacked by our own government, and they're manipulating what it means to be a domestic terrorist, and pretty soon that's going to include 70 million people. So,
Well, hopefully your show tonight will, like last week was you had to do a workaround with Ann.
oh
So
yeah,
Mel's on
yeah.
with Ann
We'll
tonight at
see
9.
people.
We'll
Oh,
see if it
anyway, yeah,
works.
I'll be on Ann Vandersteel tonight live at 9 on YouTube if they let us on. Okay, thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a
Thanks so
great
much.
day, Patriot pals.
Bye.
Bye.